Good.
I'll wait till the wind goes.
Okay.
In thinking about my past, is there something that I would like to have done that I didn't do? And the one thing that comes to mind is I really lack discernment in many ways, and not really ever being taught or shown what to do in how to make excellent decisions. I would go more by other kinds of criteria in making my choices. And the problem is, though, if I would have changed anything, maybe everything wouldn't have worked out so well as it has worked out to this point. So all of those different times when I made decisions that I thought then were mistakes, in a sense, were part of my research as to what works and what doesn't work. And yet everything that I ever did in the past that I could have called a mistake, when I got the gift from it, and everything does have a gift, I found that that was an invaluable lesson or teaching that I needed to have, that was really very important. And if I had maybe had better discernment, I wouldn't have chosen that, or I wouldn't have gone on that path. But then again, I have to say that, I was talking, there was at one time when my daughters let me know I wasn't the mother that they really should have had. This is many years ago. And I said, well, girls, you've attracted me as your mother by your karma, by your consciousness. And so if you'd like to have a better mother next time, you better work on yourselves. And they stopped, they kind of go, oh yeah, right, because they had something to do with it. And of course my daughters have given me another chance to be a mother, which is really nice. And they're beautiful people. So the thing was, even who you have as your parents or your children or your mates, or maybe challenges that you have in the workplace or anything else, if you really look at that, instead of feeling bad about it and depressed or guilty or ashamed or whatever it may be, come on, what was there that you can find some treasure, some gem that really then makes that a valuable experience, instead of calling it a big mistake and you're a loser and you could never make a right decision, but because it's according to whomever is judging you. And you have to know, a lot of people out there, they are judging you, because that's what people do, especially when they don't work on themselves. They're always going to cast doubt and look at other people and what they're up to and judge them according to that standard. But that doesn't mean I would do those same things now, having the level of wisdom and discernment that I have. And wisdom is a very important thing. And wisdom is something that we have learned through all of our experiences, as long as we have been in the material world, since maybe the beginning of time or beyond. And that inner wisdom is our inner guide. And if this is what I would do, and what I do now is to focus on what feels right inside, not in my head. I remember one time I was asked to be a minister of a very large church. And this is at a time when I knew that it was time for me to have a church, and I really didn't want to sit in an office and do all that sort of thing, but I knew I needed to learn certain things to do my work. And this was a big church, and they were going to give me a salary, and it was going to be really cool. And I thought, oh yeah, I should say yes. And the day that the board president came to ask me my decision, I was all primed to say yes. And I became so nauseous that I realized in my body I felt so sick, like I couldn't do it. I had to say no, because my inner guidance was so strong that said, no, this is not your right place. And after that, a while later, then I took a very tiny little church for a very small little salary and whatever it may be, but this one was the right place for me to do my work. And we can judge things by our thoughts, by our mind, or by our opinions of maybe what we've learned from others, but we have an inner wisdom. And that is so very important for us to be able to tune into, to trust and to know. And so as I go forward in my life, I trust more and more my inner guidance, plus also the ability to discern right from wrong, or is this good for me or is this not good for me? Because I have this one book that I've written, I haven't published yet, I call Prospering Choices. And it's for people like I was, well-meaning people who always want to see the good in others. See, all need the good, but we don't recognize where they really are in their own consciousness and by their own actions. Yes, we can see the good in people, and that's important to realize, that God presence that's with me is with everybody. And each of us has our own relationship. But each of us also has our level of realization, our you might say our programmed reality, or our belief system, or whatever we've been taught to believe is true or not true, or whatever may be. So from there, people are making their decisions, and the mind, if it's not controlled and you don't use it properly, is the greatest terrorist weapon that's ever been invented. And I always say that fear basically is a mind virus. And when we have the mind virus of fear, we have envy and jealousy and competition and hatred and all of these things that are not human at all. So this wisdom then, also with the information of discernment, helps us to make excellent choices and decisions, because we see the good, but we also see where people are in consciousness, and then you decide, do I want to be around this person or not? Because this person is going to continue to be the way they are, and most people never change. And they don't change that because for whatever reason they don't want to, or they never really look to see how whatever's going on in the world, in their world, has something to do with them. And that's, you find that so many people are blamers, and they're always feeling guilty, and they lack their ability to act, because people tend to always be just responding to what other people are doing and saying, instead of coming from their own wisdom and their own power and their own knowing of who they are. So yeah, from the past I could have had better discernment, but yet everything worked out magnificently and has given me gifts in every single aspect of my being. So how can I, besmirch the past? I'll just say, hey, it's great, but I'm here and I'm going forward. So all that wisdom, all that we've learned, and also to keep an open mind and continue to learn and to explore and to be who we really are, that we don't have to repeat the past, and you don't have to create a future from your past. And we are eternal, so you always have a future. You can't even die because you are eternity itself. So I remember the first time I realized I couldn't die, I was depressed because I was feeling so bad at the time. I thought, well, at least if I die, I'll feel better. When you realize, hey, you are eternity itself. So if you want to be happy, you want to be who you are, you want to express that magnificent power and creativity and beauty that you are, then we need to be accountable in that sense, to know that whatever's going on in our world, there is a common denominator. We are there. You are there. So you had something to do with it. And when we take that and we learn the lessons and we apply them, then even everything in our past becomes a stepping stone to success. And success simply means achieving your goal or whatever is your objective. So, hey, your past was just research. And now the best is ahead of you. So choose wisely.
Good one. Cool.
Oh boy.